I'm so sorry that I kept you guys waiting, but I seriously was living the situation up until a couple of hours ago. Quick recap, I went out with a guy that I matched with on Hinge on Saturday night, and it ended up going absolutely terrible. So it's me and my friend. He tells us to show up to his Airbnb at a certain time to pregame with like all the rest of his friends. Right when we get there, off the bat, the vibes are off. There's like 3 other girls there. They're getting ready. I introduce myself. Like I walk up the stairs and I'm like, hi guys, like I'm Winnie, nice to meet you, because I'm not the bitch that's not about to say hi. When they said hi, it was just like very cold, very annoying. And the Hinge match kept saying like, God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I had to bring you guys into this vibe. Let's go up to the roof and just like drink there. So we go up to the rooftop. He's chatting about how it's his birthday, how he had rented this Airbnb and how they were being absolutely terrible. Like they didn't care that it was his birthday. They didn't want to go to any of the places that he wanted to go. And I felt really bad. So me and my friend, we were like, look, just hang out with us. Like, we're going to go out, we're going to have a good time, and we're going to celebrate your birthday. I did start to notice, though, that he was starting to pay more attention to my friend, like ask her more questions and just be a little bit more intrigued in her life. It's not really important to the story, but I just wanted to give you guys, like, the vibes. So it's me, my friend, Hinge guy, his friend. He really wanted to go to this club called Havana, so it's his birthday. We're like, you know, we're gonna do whatever you want to do. His friend calls the Uber, we go down from the roof and we leave and we get in the Uber. The moment we get out of the Uber, I realize that I didn't have my purse. So I'm looking around for my purse. I'm looking at them. I'm like, guys, I don't have my purse. The Uber is driven away. Can you try messaging the Uber? I'm talking to his friend at this point because his friend's the one that called the Uber. Like, can you try messaging him and asking him if the purse is in there? He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But chances are your purse is probably in the house. You probably left it there, or you probably left it on the rooftop. I was like, you know what? You know, at this point I was a little bit tipsy. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, probably. Honestly, it's probably there. So like, no big deal. I also really did not want to ruin this man's birthday and make it about myself. So I was kind of just like, okay, like hopefully it's at the house. It probably is. And then we can just have a good night. We're at Havana. We're having a good time. I kind of noticed that like at this point that he's like really interested in my friend. So I'm starting to just get like turned off. I'm like, okay, like whatever, you know, it is what it is. After a couple hours, we were lit. We were like, let's head back to the Airbnb. And here's where shit got stressful because it escalated so fast. The moment we get back to his Airbnb, he's like, shh, shh, be quiet. You have to be quiet. The girls are sleeping. Like, don't say a peep. Like, don't say a word. He's not even letting us stay in the house. He's literally saying, go back up to the roof where it's cold as hell. We were drinking. He's like, shh, shh. Every little thing we say, if we giggle, if we talk, he would be like, shh, shh, shh. Meanwhile, we weren't even being loud. Like, we were trying to be as respectful as we possibly could be. But it was the fact that every little noise we made, this man was like, guys, you guys are being too loud. It was like, honestly, it just gave me, like, it gave me the ick. Like, we get up to the roof, we're talking, we're telling him, like, how cold we are and how we want to go back inside. And so he's like, fine, like, let's go downstairs. I'm thinking he's going to take us to the kitchen. No. He takes us down 1 flight of stairs because there's 3 flights of stairs in this condo. It's like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 rooftop. He takes us down the first flight of stairs and like pushes us into his room and locks the door and like closes the door. It was at this moment that I remembered that I still hadn't found or looked for my purse. So I tell him, I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot to look for my purse. Have you talked to the Uber? I look at his friend and I'm like, hey, have you talked to the Uber driver? Have you heard anything? He's like, no, I haven't heard anything. I'm like, can I go and like look in your kitchen? Maybe I left it on the roof. He looks me dead in my eye and is like, shh, shh, no, you can't, no. I'm looking at him in shock and disbelief. I'm like, what do you mean no? I need to find my purse. My keys to my home are in there and the keys to my car are in there. If I don't find them, like I'm literally stuck. He proceeds to tell me again, no, I'm sorry, but you can't go look. By this point, his friend had left the room and disappeared. It'd been like 20 or 30 minutes now. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, can we try to contact the Uber? Like, can we please do something? Because us just sitting here and you guys just staring at me is stressing me out. Like I'm getting nervous. Like I need to find my shit. At this point, I'm starting to cry. Him and my friend are sitting on the bed. I'm like scooched into a corner, like balled up, crying. Him and my friend are looking at me like I'm fucking insane. I am pleading with this man to please let me go check the roof. Let me go check the kitchen. Like, let me just leave this room. And he's still saying no. At this point, I don't feel like my friend is supporting me at all, and it's 2 against 1, and I'm feeling very, very ganged up on. So I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the bathroom because there was a bathroom attached to the room. I'm like, and you guys can sit here, and I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna call Corey, my baby daddy. I go into the bathroom because talking to them is not helping. I am still drunk and I'm trying my hardest to still be respectful to this man. So I go into the bathroom, I call Corey crying. Corey is like stressed out. He's like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm telling him what's happening. I'm like, I'm trying to tell them I need to find my keys. I need to find my car keys, you know, and my house keys because I can't get into my house. Like I'm explaining this to Corey. Corey's like, I don't understand. Like, what's the issue? Like, why can't you look for your shit? And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, no one's listening to me, dude. Not even my friend. Like, she wasn't even listening to me. Yes, I was intoxicated, but at the same time, like, I was still very much aware that I needed to find my shit. My friend whips open the bathroom door and she's like, we can hear you talking out here. Like, we can hear you talking shit. And I'm like, okay, but you guys are not helping me. So I had to call Corey to be like, hey, come help me because they're not helping me. I felt like no one was listening to me. It was giving like angry black women freaking out for no reason. At that point, I was really mad at my friend. I had cussed her out because I was like, leave me alone. She ends up storming off. I think she ends up like leaving the room and she's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. She storms off, she leaves. I'm sitting there like crying to Corey, like, hey, like, what do I do? I'm still begging this man, like, can I please just go check? Like, let me just go look. He's still saying no. About 5 minutes later, my friend tries to call me and tells me like, let's go. I called the Uber and I'm sitting here like, no, I already called my child's father. I don't want to hop in the car with you and just be screaming at each other. Like, I'm not arguing with you about this. Like, I'm not doing it. So I completely was like, you go. So she ends up leaving. And another reason why I didn't want to leave is because I still didn't have my shit, right? Like, they didn't even live in Georgia. The moment I would have left, I would have never heard from them again. So I'm talking to the Hinge guy. It's just me and him at this point. And I'm like, can you go ask your friend if the Uber driver has said anything? Like, give me the Uber driver's number. Like, I will go, but like, I need some connection so that I can try to get my purse back. He's screaming back at me like, why are you blaming us? Like, we didn't do anything. He's talking about him and my friend. He's like, we didn't do anything and you're getting mad at us. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not getting mad at you guys. I am just like asking for empathy. Like, help me find my bag. Like, actually care at the fact that I lost my shit. I do take responsibility for losing my shit. That's all on me, but I'm just asking for you to maybe care? Like, what? I really did try to fit this whole story into 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to go to part 2.
This man almost unalived me on our date. Take a seat, because this is a wild ride. The first red flag, I don't like when men pick me up on the first date because 1, I don't want you to know where I live, and 2, I want to be able to leave when I want. I don't want to feel trapped. I met him at an event, we exchanged numbers, and then he asked me on a date. So it starts out great. He makes dinner reservations and he's like, I'll pick you up. And I'm like, no, it's okay, I can Uber, I can drive. And he's like, no, I'll pick you up. I'm like, okay. The nicest Mercedes I've ever seen. Like, I've never seen a Mercedes like that. It's like one of those cars that they only make 5 of, and if you're one of the 5, you're... It's also a convertible, and it feels like 30 degrees outside, so I'm not sure why we need the convertible part out right now, but like, it's fine, show off. He also brings me a big bouquet of red roses, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, such a gentleman. We're off to a great start. Little did I know that I would eminently despise this car and everything about it. I go to dinner, and actually, everything about the date is great. It's after the date where it just gets progressively downhill from there. We're walking back to his car and he's like, do you want to drive down Rodeo? How far do you think it is? And I'm like, it's past. I actually say yes, but I also never actually say no. And so we get in the car and he starts driving. He starts driving in the opposite direction of both my apartment and Rodeo Drive. And I'm like, oh, actually it's that way. And he's like, oh, I know, I want to go this way. Exact reason why I do not like men driving me on the first date. So he's driving and he proceeds to put his address into the GPS. And I'm like, am I being kidnapped right now? So he's like, do you want to go to my place and watch a movie? Like, oh, actually I have to be up really early in the morning. And he's like, oh, it's okay, I'll have you back by midnight. Okay, not like I have a choice right now. I'm not gonna jump out of a moving car. We're already headed there, so whatever. This man is driving like the cops are after him. He zooming, the light is red before we get into the intersection, and he's like, yeah, I just don't like waiting. And I'm like, I love waiting. I love waiting at red lights. It's fun. Anyway, somehow we make it to his house in one piece. It's this great big mansion in the hills. Yeah, whatever, very impressive. He's showing me around and we get to the theater and I'm like, oh, we're here to watch a movie. So I sit down. I don't need to see the rest of the house. I don't need to see any bedrooms or anything. I found the theater. That's what we're here for. I do not take off my jacket. I'm wearing this big leather coat and I'm sitting like this the whole time. legs crossed, shoes on. So we start watching the movie and I'm cold and uncomfortable. So I'm like, all right, let me grab a blanket and recline because I'm gonna be here a while. Might as well be. So he goes to make popcorn and I grab a blanket and I get comfortable and I make sure I'm laying down so where there's no room for him to come snuggle up next to me. Anyway, he comes back and he's like, ooh, that looks comfortable. And hops right there beside me. And I'm like, I know you're not comfortable. He does. Anyway, once he moves, we start having conversation, we're talking during the movie, and he says the most racist thing to me, and he doesn't even realize. What do you mix with? And I'm like, well, both my parents are black. And he's like, what? I can't believe you're full black. Like, you're so lucky you don't have those features. I'm sick at this point. And mind you, I do have black features, and I am black, and we are beautiful. So you, like, asshole. I'm so sorry. Part 2 is already up. That's where I almost die, so.
Alright, so story time. I've never told you guys this one before. Story time on how I almost got my ass whooped by my ex's baby's mama's entire family, okay? I feel like I tell a lot of stories on here about me almost getting beat up. Like, I never tell all the stories when I win the fights because I feel like that's boring. Who want to hear that? Also, like, I tell a lot of stories about, like, when it's, like, a gray area. But this story, I was actually in the wrong, okay? This is, like, some of the worst shit I've ever done. Like, feel free to judge me. I'm not a perfect person. And I feel like people come on here and they tell y'all all these, like, stories times to make y'all feel bad about them. Make y'all feel like they're always the victim. I am not a victim all the time, baby. Sometimes I am the predator. Sometimes I am the perpetrator. So while I was dating one of my exes, he ended up getting this girl pregnant. Okay, let's just start off with a bang. All right. Let's just start off with a bang. He ended up, like, we went through a little, like, rough patch. And he ended up meeting this girl, getting her pregnant. The way that I found out that he got her pregnant is because he came to my house and was staying the night and left his phone in my room. And I went through, bitch, because he never changed the password. And I saw her sending pictures of, like the baby's gender. I guess she had, like, a gender appointment. And, like, he missed the appointment because he was at my house, first of all. But second of all, look, he was not a good man. And she was sending him, like, pictures of, like, the sonogram and, like, telling him that it was going to be a girl and everything. And I was, imagine me, like, having a good day. We picked out a Christmas tree. We went shopping at Hobby Lobby. I get home and something's in my ear telling me, check that phone. Check that phone. I checked that phone and it's sonograms in the phone. Bitch, I almost passed out. I almost passed out in that hole. Okay? So I confront him about it and this man starts crying. And I'm like, no, these tears aren't going to work on me, baby. I want to fight. Like, I don't know what you crying for. I'm going to give you something to cry about, for real. So I ended up getting the girl's phone number off his phone, and when he left my house that night, I texted her and was like, what's going on? And she was basically like, oh yeah, he told me he has a crazy ex. He told me, like, you're not going to ruin our family. Like, I know all about you, how crazy you are, how you do weird, crazy things. And, like, he told me, basically he told her all about me, and she said, I'm not going to ruin their family. They're going to be together. I wish I could have a baby. She was going off. First of all, I don't wish I could have a baby by a bum. I never wished I got pregnant by a bum. You're delusional. So we get to arguing about it. And then he calls me. He's like, hey, this is why I can't deal with you right now. Why would you do that? You trying to mess up my happy home? Mind you, y'all, we are in a relationship. I'm trying to mess up his happy home. Niggas are so fucking... This is why I do niggas how I do niggas. Because, like, niggas are such evil people, bro. They are so evil. My God, I gotta match it. So we get to arguing, me and her friend get to arguing, we arguing, and I'm just basically like, I'm arguing with her because, like, I thought we was gonna have a discussion, like, two adults, and she talking about I'm trying to mess up her happy home and shit, like, so basically I went and stalked her on social media, and she had posted on Twitter the details of her baby shower, where it was gonna be at and what time it was gonna be at. Now, why would you do that, boo-boo? You got ops out here. Why would you do that, boo-boo? So this is back when I used to work at this country club. I had worked at 2 different country clubs, but they were like sister properties. So this was back when I used to work at a country club, right? And so the location that she had booked for the baby shower was a private room at the country club that I worked at the time. And so I'm like, I don't know if this girl knew about me or if this was done on purpose, but, like, I don't know. Spartanburg is like a small town, so it's like, I guess, like, I don't know, maybe it was an accident, I don't know. But basically, I went to work, right? And I used to be a waitress. I did golf cart, but I also helped with events, okay? So I basically told my managers one day, I was like, oh yes, someone called in and they canceled their event for such and such day. When I'm very fully aware that I was wrong. Like, I've been holding on to this story because I'm like, I don't want y'all to see the evil side of, mind you, this is a long time ago. Her baby shower was not on the event board anymore. And then we had booked over the baby shower because I told them that she canceled it, and they had booked some sort of like golf picnic event for the room that she had booked. So the time comes for the baby shower. I'm booked to work that day. So when the time comes to work the day that the event was supposed to be on, I was scheduled to work that day. We were all scheduled to work that day because it was a short staff, and like we were all pretty much event staff when it was a big event. So I tried to trade my shifts. I was like, please, I immediate regret. But after I already said they called and canceled, there was nothing I could really do about it. And then they booked over it. So I tried to switch shifts with this other girl, and she would not switch my shift. When I tell y'all, I was like, I will literally give you $100, name your price. I do not want to work on this day. She would not switch her shift with me for fucking nothing. So I'm scared. I'm like, damn, do I need to call out? Like, what do I need to fucking do? Because I'm scared to come in because I know she's going to get there and nothing is going to be done. So usually for events, you come a little earlier to set up for the event. So I think it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours earlier or something. They do like place settings and everything, but if you have like custom decorations, they give you time to come in before to book the events. Now, the time that she was supposed to come in before was before my shift had started. So the time that they were supposed to come in to decorate for the event was like an hour before my shift started. So I pull up on the time that my shift is supposed to start. I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm scared. Like, I'm shaking scared. Like, I'm just going to call and tell them I'm sick. But like, again, it's a short staff, and I would basically be like leaving all my coworkers to fend for themselves. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then like, I had already called out. So I was like, shit, I'm kind of stuck right now. So I'm sitting in the fucking parking lot and I am super fucking scared. I'm calling my friend. I'm talking to her and I'm like, I'm scared to go in here. So while I'm sitting outside, it's like 10 hours past my shift start time. My manager calls me and she's like, hey, the event that you told me that someone called in and canceled the other day, they're here to set up for the event. And they said that no one ever called in and canceled. Who did you speak with? And like, I don't have an answer for this because the phone call was fake. So I'm like, yeah, I don't remember. They didn't leave their name. I'm not really sure. And she's like, where are you? And I was like, yeah, I'm in the parking lot. I'm about to come in. So I'm walking into the building up the steps, and my manager is sitting on the front steps of the property. And it's like the girl, her entire family, they have balloons. They have like the whole shebang. She's all dressed up. My boyfriend at the time, well, anyways, he was not there. It was just her. When I walked up, she recognized me, and I'm like, I don't know how she know what I look like or what, because the only conversation we ever had was the conversation we were going back and forth about me ruining her happy family. So she recognized me, and she's like, it's confusion. I first see confusion on her face, and then my manager is like, hey, so these are the people who booked the event. Like, they're trying to figure out who called in to cancel the reservation. And immediately she was like, oh, I'm not gonna say his name. You're Jeffrey's girlfriend. And I was like, I just stood there. I'm like, I've never been so much in shock in my life. And I'm like, and I just stood there, and then it's just silence. Like, it's just minutes of fucking silence, and we're all looking around. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, because like, which one? I'm not gonna lie. And then it turned into just complete fucking chaos.